Good afternoon.
Good evening, almost.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Good evening. I feel like I got some odd shadowing going on.
Yeah, it's all your studio lights.
This is my morning. It's this one. That's what it is. What if I turn this one off? This is my morning setup and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I kind of I
That's
took
okay.
down my lights and because we were doing them in the morning. But I don't know. I think this light, my overhead light, it's decent. Whatever, it's fine.
It's okay. I feel like there's a reason people always have either ring lights or something in front of them, right? Backlights are the worst. If you turn that lamp on, it'd be a problem. Overhead's kind of neither
Yeah,
good nor bad.
yeah,
Do you
yeah. I
need to turn
agree.
the heat on in your house or something?
I
What's
just turned it up a little bit, but it's freezing and it's pretty cold here today in general. And we haven't lived here yet long enough to know what it's like in the cold. So I'm still tinkering with the temperature. I don't allow Allison to touch the thermostat under punishment of death. I'm very
that's
particular. I control the thermostat.
that's a very Western Pennsylvania children of the Depression era
Yeah.
behavior.
Do you allow others to meddle in your thermostat?
It bothers me. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. That's just how we were raised, man.
Yeah.
Uh, it's
I
funny
kind of
when
feel like it's not even if we weren't raised that way. I think there's just something in men that makes us want to take control of the temperature. I think it's
maybe
biological.
I don't know. We'd have to ask all men across the country
Yeah,
where they grew up. Probably it's not that big of a deal when you grow up in Southern California and you just don't ever have to worry about it.
that's
But for
true.
some reason, in the Four Seasons climate that we grew up in,
Yeah.
it was a problem.
You know what's interesting? So have you ever spent time like extended time on the in Southern California?
Not other than a vacation.
So we Allison's sister and I guess my sister-in-law and brother-in-law now, that's the right way to refer to them. Live in Manhattan Beach, California, which is a beautiful area. So there's been a couple of occasions where we've stayed in their house when they weren't there over the pandemic for like a month at a time. I think we stayed there
Right.
for 2 months once. And their house is so it's like strategically built with shade. They keep their house stays very cool, which is great for the for SoCal in the summer. But we've always been out there in the winter, and like in the morning, it's freezing. So I had to like redo their thermostat schedule. I don't know how it was down to like 63 degrees, and then in the afternoon, it's like as soon as you're in the sun, it's cooking, right? But if you're in shade at all, it's way too cold. I don't like that. I felt that it was harder to control the temperature there than it is here, where there's like much more uh, dramatic swings in temperature. But I like it out there. Would
Interesting.
you live on the West Coast in California?
Not. I don't think I could live in California.
What
It's
about like
gorgeous.
Seattle?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one
Seattle's cool.
place I think that I could, if I was going to move, if I was going to move and start somewhere else, it would either be Chicago or Seattle. I tried to move to Chicago and it didn't work out, but I
Yeah,
was ready to make that move, and I love it out there. I think it's gorgeous.
yeah.
But it's really just kind of the city, and then there's not much else around. And the weather
Not
in the winter is kind of brutal.
in
But
Chicago.
yeah, in the
I,
summer
I
it's
don't.
amazing.
I don't think I can make it through a Chicago winter. I mean, I've done when I moved to Seattle. I said when I've had my first 4 seasons in Seattle, I said I'm never moving back to the East Coast. I'm never doing another East Coast winter, I think is what I said. And here I am. So, but I
Look inside,
definitely,
dressed like that.
yeah, just like I'm going to build a snowman. The uh, winter in Seattle is like the people there complain about it endlessly, but I would take 40 degrees and raining over 20 degrees and snow any day. Any day. I don't care if it's cloudy. I don't care. Like I just don't want to deal with snow and ice. I'm done with it.
Yeah, ice sucks. Like when you're walking, especially when you're walking to work or you're in a city and you've got
Yeah.
to cross intersections and you're waiting for lights and you got to kind of play that like puddle game of
Yeah.
gonna hop over every puddle at every intersection in the slush. That sucks. That's
Yeah.
brutal. And if
And
we both lived
you
in
never
cities
have
and
to put
walked,
on like a giant winter coat in Seattle. It's great.
Yeah.
And the summers there are like the best kept secret in the country. I
Yeah.
don't understand why people don't go vacation there on the summer. It's perfect. It's beautiful every day.
It's awesome.
Sunsets at 10:30 at night. It's beautiful.
It's stunning driving around on a clear day. It happened when I visited you, and you were driving me to the airport, and all of a sudden Mount Rainier comes off. You're just like, is that Mount Rainier? It's above the clouds. Like seeing that is phenomenal. It's awesome. I like Seattle a lot, man. There's outdoor shit going on. Chambers Bay is probably my favorite golf course on the planet. Yeah. And skiing and stuff like that. And it's very, very pretty.
My biggest regret is that I didn't play a lot of golf out there. I just wasn't into golf at the time as much as I am now. And I did play a few times and the courses were beautiful. But the thing I love the most about Seattle is that so I lived in the city and I was a transplant. So, it's probably different for locals, but the conversation every weekend was, where are you going? Not what are you doing? Because no one stayed in the city. There wasn't enough of an urban. I mean, they had great restaurants and fun things to do, but it was more like some outdoor activity was always on tap. And I loved that. I loved the hiking. I loved the camping, skiing. You go right through, you're an hour away from the Snoqualmie Pass and then you're like in the mountains,
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yep. So Seattle, either Seattle, Chicago, where would you move? Could you move to California? I've been to San Francisco. I have my cousin lives out there, and I've been out there a few times to the Bay Area, and hung out. The thing that always bothered me about the Bay Area was I couldn't ever dress. It's kind of what you were talking about. I could not dress for the occasion. It was hot in the daytime, and then at night, as soon as the sun went down, it was freezing cold.
Yeah, it's like the desert, basically.
As a bald man, that's a tough. And
it really is.
That marine layer comes in, and it's just like it's freezing, man. You have to pack a hat, a winter hat, to go out and hang out in 70-degree weather during the day if you're going to be out.
I
for
felt
dinner.
like LA was like that in the winter too. I always had a winter hat, like a ski hat, with me, and then you go, like, we would sit outside at a restaurant, and then the second the sun comes up, it's like you're peeling off layers because it's not even like the kind of sun that makes you sweat. It's the kind of sun that like radiates heat into your body and makes you hot and you burn. I took one day off when we were out there, and because I wanted to take advantage of the beach, and I set up a beach chair, and I wore my UGG boots out and set up a beach chair because it was not that warm, but it was certainly warm enough in the sun. And when I got home, like if you drew a line down my body, the half that was facing the sun was bright red. And I was sitting in the sun for like an hour and a half. It was not a long time out, but you just get scorched out there.
They call that the tourist look, the tourist divide.
Why the hell are you on the beach in February tan?
Look at this sucker.
Yeah. Manhattan Beach is cool though, man. They've got like those houses on the water, $30 million a piece. They're crazy. But yeah, I could do SoCal, San Diego.
Yeah.
LA.
At some point though, it's kind of like, well, what are we, if we're not doing it now, it's kind of like, well, we're already 40.
Yeah.
Moving at this point is going to be much more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you mean outside of a job opportunity or, family?
I can't imagine
moving you.
Yeah, I can't imagine moving for a reason other than a job that's going to pay you significantly more to uproot your life at this point.
I mean, that's the only reason I've moved ever in my life. That's why I ended up here. That's why I ended up in Seattle.
Yeah.
Have you ever moved for sport?
No, I tried to. To go to Chicago, and I had a job offer from Lehman Brothers.
Oh, really? I don't think I knew that.
You had to have known. All right, so here's the story. I can't believe I didn't tell you.
You may.
So 2000. Trying to think when everything went bad. Things started going bad in like 2007.
Yeah, I think
but it
Lehman
wasn't
collapsed
until
2008.
Right. And Bear Stearns was the first one. And that was April or May 2008.
Yeah.
And I decided at that point that I was I wanted to move to Chicago. I had friends out there. And I just needed to change. I need to get out of DC. I went through the process. I just applied for a job at everywhere. And Lehman called me back. And I interviewed over the phone a bunch of times, or once or twice. And then the guy was like, we're not going to fly you out here for this interview. Like, the job was not something super advanced. It was basically an entry level job. He's like, don't fly out here just for this interview. And I actually lied and told the guy I had an interview otherwise, somewhere else. And I didn't.
Just strategy. I like that.
I was trying. I was like hammering the phones. I was trying to find names of hiring managers at UBS and Credit Suisse and all these places that had similar jobs.
Was it because you wanted to be in Chicago, or just because you were on fire to work for one of those companies?
No, I wanted to be in Chicago, and I worked for a bank it was either that or Enterprise Rent-A-Car, which I had quit 4 or 5 years earlier.
Probably 4 or 5 years too late.
Right.
And
so, I ended up, I paid for my own flight and I flew out to Chicago, and I had basically an all-day interview at Lehman. Here's how I knew something it even struck me, and this was still, nothing was wrong with Lehman at the time. It was just Bear Stearns, and like the financial system there were articles about it, but it wasn't like this is the end times.
Nobody thought that Lehman was going to fail. Not even Lehman.
I'm sure inside they were like, we need help, but we're going to pull it off. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be all right. Like all the other big banks, right? I walked into to the building, and I was and they had a harp player in the lobby. Like that. Lehman Brothers in their building in downtown Chicago had not someone playing the piano, not just music pumped through. They had a live harp player. I was like, investment. That seems like a little much. Right?
What an interesting thing to see. Like we have these snapshots. Everyone does snapshots in their life of a moment in time, and like what a more appropriate snapshot of a moment in time than a live harp player in Lehman Brothers. What, months before the collapse?
Weeks before the collapse.
Kept the harpist on the payroll though.
That's right. And so anyway, I had like an all-day interview, and I killed it. I had the feeling that I was gonna get the job, and flew back to DC, and then it was kind of like, okay, well, we're working on some things. Then it started getting you're like reading more about Lehman specific stuff, and you're like, they need a buyout. There was I think it was a Japanese bank that was going to buy out part of Lehman or something. So, and I
think originally JP Morgan Chase. Oh no. Was it Japanese or Korean?
Yeah, it was some,
I remember an
Asia-based bank.
It fell through. It was
right.
I can't remember the name of the bank, but yeah.
So you'd started hearing that was those talks were happening, and it was still kind of like, we're working on some things, some budget things here, but we'll let you know. And this whole time, all my friends in Chicago know what's going on, right?
They're still hiring. That's crazy.
Well, they weren't, I guess. They didn't hire. They didn't give me an offer.
Were interviewing.
So here's, and this wasn't in the investment bank. It was in the private wealth group. So it was kind of separate from the part of the bank that had real problems.
So you know what that means. That the other divisions didn't know.
No, I think just from having worked through that recession, everybody knew that there was something going on. And as a matter of fact, I think if anybody did know how bad things were, it was the people that I was interviewing with. It wasn't the investment bank. And so it was the investment bank, not private wealth.
I know what you meant.
So anyway, we have these, we're like staying in touch and stuff. And then on a Friday afternoon, I get a call from the hiring managers like, hey, did you get an offer from UBS? Because I told him I was interviewing with UBS. I never had an interview. He's like, I said, no, I haven't heard from him yet. He said, all right, listen, we're gonna make you an offer. The guy who needs to actually sign the paper he's gone for the day. I need you here in 2 weeks. And so on Monday, have your phone on because I'll call you. Okay. And I'm pumped, right? And so I get that call on like Friday at noon, and I am flying to Chicago 3 hours later for a wedding, unrelated. And I land in Chicago, and of course I'm catching up with people. What's going on? I'm like, I'm moving to Chicago. I don't know if I'm gonna live in Wicker Park or Lincoln Park, or I'm gonna have a car. Maybe I'll get my own place. I don't know. I might have a roommate. I'm just jinxing it like crazy. By the time I landed back in DC on Sunday night, they were bankrupt.
So you turned your phone on when the flight lands, and you're like, oh.
I'm like looking up. I don't even know if I had a smartphone. I got home and I'm like,
did they made an offer?
He never gave me the actual physical offer, but he said
you left with the feeling that it's going to happen.
That was it. I mean, it was happening. He told me he was calling on Monday with the offer.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I get home on Sunday night and I'm like Googling Chapter 7 bankruptcy because that's what they filed or whatever it was.
Is this the kind of bankruptcy where I can still get the offer, or is this the kind of bankruptcy where I'm not getting an offer?
And I walk into work on Monday, of course, and everyone's there. And like, did you hear what happened to Lehman? I was like, what? Oh my goodness.
Why? Was someone talking to them or
bankrupt? How'd you hear that? Oh, I see it on the front page of the newspaper now.
News.com.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there it is. Lehman Brothers.
Huh. So I didn't call the guy on Monday. I didn't get a call on Monday, number one. And then I said, I'm not going to call him. And I actually called him on Wednesday, and he answered the phone. His name was Chris. And he answered the phone. Hi, this is Chris. Chris at Barclays or whatever. Barclays International. This is Chris. I was like, okay. Well, at least you kept your same phone number. He's like, yeah, I don't have a job for you anymore. I don't even work. I work for Barclays now. They bought us and dropped us in. So that was that. And then of course, there was no opportunity after that for years and I was not quitting a job in banking. I was lucky enough to keep my job, which was a very junior position, but they didn't let me go. Yeah. And so Chicago dried up. And then, so with the role I'm doing now at the company I'm in now, 10 years later, more than that, was a Chicago-based position. And they put me in, and there was never an ask of if I'm going to move there or not. I started this right in 2020, and I started spending every other week in Chicago, and I loved it. I mean, I loved spending time there. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, wow. Rich, you can't be in Chicago. Stop going there.
The universe is forcing you to stay away. Hey, you know what? You never know. There's maybe a reason for that. Maybe there's some horrible fate awaiting you in Chicago, and staying away will keep you away from that.
I crushed the economy, and I instituted a global pandemic. We'll see what happens next time.
Yeah, take a hint, guy.
I know.
Take a hint.
So anyway, that's but I love the city. I think it's really fun, and the people there are really great. Everyone I've met was really friendly, and it was fun. But yeah, Seattle.
Glad to know everyone was nice to you.
Speaking of places I do not ever want to move. Did you see what happened to
Qatar?
With the yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah, I was just going to bring it up. It is the most obvious and predictable outcome. I don't know enough about it. I wish I knew more about how the hell the World Cup ended up there. I mean, I think I know, like from common sense, right? But did you see the shipping containers where they just painted doors and windows onto the side of them where people are staying?
Is that what they are? They kept saying these are luxury ships docked out in the harbor, but they're really just shipping containers.
With doors and windows painted on them.
Like,
What?
My God.
And you saw the clips, I'm sure, of the officials trying to break the cameras of that Danish television station because they were filming.
No, I haven't
Another
seen
guy,
that.
a reporter for MSNBC, took a picture with his phone of the World Cup logo on a wall, and an official came up and made him delete it.
Unbelievable.
I mean, what the fuck is going on?
They're FIFA's getting what they deserve with this, man. Like, it's so transparent, the fact that Qatar was never going to allow anyone to drink at the stadiums. Of course they weren't. This is like an Islamic state. This is a big deal to even let them do it in a hotel. But if they said that day one, they'd still have tickets available for Sunday's matches. Well, so no one would come to the thing.
I looked up the price of tickets on StubHub yesterday because I was curious about this. So for the U.S.-Wales match, how much do you think it would cost you to get? Behind one of the goals,
it up.
but like, not too far behind one of the goals. What would be your guess?
I have no idea. Less than $100.
You're right. Yeah, like $80 to get you a decent seat for a World Cup game. And so then I looked, okay, what about Brazil? Right? Brazil certainly has got to be more. And it was like $120. I thought they were going to be like $4,000 a seat.
That's probably what they cost on the primary market, right? Like I can't imagine that they
think people are selling them at a loss.
Yeah.
Wow.
First of all, that is the number one that you have to be comfortable doing that if you're going to be in the ticket resale game. I know that from experience. Much about it.
Oh, that's right. Did you have a little stint as a ticket reseller?
It's Chicago Bulls season tickets for 3 seasons.
That's right. Because you were going to move there, right?
Well, no. Friends of ours, Doug Vlicki, was big into that. A lot of those guys are really big into it, and I thought it was a good idea. I had a buddy that got into it too. It made some money. The reason that I started doing it, I made the decision, is because I was so sick of hearing about where LeBron James is going to play in 2000, like when he left Cleveland for the first time. And that was every day. I'm like, I'm so tired of hearing about what team he's going to go to. And so I'm going to figure out a way to make some money off of this, because that's the only thing that'll make this worth my time. And so I picked one of the teams.
Betting, I see. Yeah.
But the fallback with Chicago was they had just made the playoffs the year prior. And that's where you make money on tickets.
Wasn't that the Derrick Rose years? Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I think he had just won rookie of the year. I think that was the first year I had tickets, was his second year when he was a superstar. And so it ended up, I was fine. I don't know if you take opportunity costs and the amount of time it takes to run that business. But
selling an iPhone right now, my old iPhone, on Facebook Marketplace, and it's not even worth the amount of time it takes to go through these messages. It's crazy. Like, what's wrong with people? Like the questions, the volume and the amount of questions. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Who are these people? Who are they? What are they doing? So I post my phone, my old phone. It's an iPhone. What are we on now? The 14. So I have the 13. So it's an iPhone 12. It's in perfect shape. I post pictures of it. I post a description.
Speechless.
People are asking, like, sorry, I just got a call from Stretch Lab. I told you about Stretch Lab, right?
Yeah, you did.
The people who stretch you out.
They're confirming that you're really actually going to show up and pay to do that.
No, I already signed up for a membership. This is they're not even open yet. I did. I swear to God, I did. I get how many do I get? Basically one a week. I get one a week, and it's like $200 a month. So I'm very, very happy to spend it. And I went and had them stretch me out, and it was wonderful.
That's just enough to not really actually. That's just enough to not accomplish anything permanent, but keep you there, keep you coming back with the illusion that you will eventually become more flexible, going to stretch once a week.
Yeah, well, no, I stretch every day, but they stretch me out once a week.
Okay.
It really is. I mean, my hips are very, very tight, like to the point where even these guys were like, the only people we've seen that are tighter than you are the senior citizens that come in here. And when I used to do yoga, my yoga instructor would tell me all the time, like, if you don't get that loosened up, you're going to have some serious problems later in life. So I'm trying to get that knocked out now. And from what they say, I actually think it will help because you have limitations on your own. You can't stretch yourself past a certain point. And the one stretch I went and had them do, it's basically like 3 days worth of stretching in one. Or I guess a different way to say it is, if you go get stretched out by them, you won't. It's like you wouldn't have to stretch out then for 3 days. I mean, you still should to keep it going, but it's like 3 days worth of not feeling tight and stiff. That's the best way to say it. I really recommend it. You're a pretty flexible guy, right? You've always been pretty flexible.
No.
We
talked about this.
No.
Oh yeah, you feel like that because you are I guess historically inflexible.
I am. It sucks.
And so that's the problem. Why don't you go every 2 days? So if it feels like money. 3 days and you want every 2 days, yeah, but then you're like time is money, right? You're building time back into your body. Think about that.
Yeah, I'll consider that. I think if I could afford it, I would go every day. No question about it. It's easy. It's 30 minutes. You leave there feeling, incredible. I love it. But anyway, the people with this phone, in fact, like I keep trying to find someone and meet them to sell it. And I get so exhausted from answering a set of messages that I just forget. I don't even check them. So, I mean, you want to see how many messages there are? This is for selling one iPhone for $500. And I posted it 2 days ago. Like, what the fuck? I'm going to go through all of these. I'm just going to read one at random. Okay, right, that person's just asking if it's still available. Is this still available? Is this still available? And the names, these are not real people's names. Almer, Kalisho, Nice Razor, Santi, Strong, Adiza, Drive Bus. This guy's name is Drive Bus. All one word. Drivebus. Igly.
Jeez.
Like, what? Who the fuck are these people? And what are they doing? Giuseppe.
Well, that's a real name. But you gotta write Drive Bus back and say, listen, I'm ready to make a deal here. I'm ready to make a deal. To just is an iPhone 12 really worth $500?
As a matter of fact, it's probably worth a little bit more. Yeah.
How is that possible?
Because it's they come in different shapes and sizes. This is it right here. This is it right here. And this is my current phone. I have the Pro Max, which is the biggest one size wise. And so the retail price on them is like $1,200 or $1,300, and it's not that old yet. So people would pay a third of the retail price for a phone that's a few years old, right?
So that's $400. Okay, roughly. You know.
Do you say so? I'm never.
I guess.
Don't check my math. Look, I mean, clearly there's people that are interested, so it's
generating interest. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. So why aren't you? So what's the problem? You just can't get anyone to actually meet you to do this transaction.
So at first I started replying to all of them, which becomes very difficult to manage because the user interface is just not conducive to that kind of organization. And then half of these people are full of shit. Like, I look at their profiles and it was created 2 days ago and I think it's a scam, so I don't want to reply to them. The other half of the people want to offer me $50 for it and move on. There was one person I was talking to at the beginning who was like, I'll do it for $475. And I said, nah, I'm going to wait for $500. And I should have just said yes. Lesson learned.
Yeah. Lesson learned.
I think that, like, finding have you ever sold anything like electronics or an Xbox or a phone or something like that?
Maybe not.
There's no easy way to do it.
Yeah, I've sold guitars, and I actually sold a guitar through Facebook Marketplace, through Sarah's Facebook Marketplace. And it went okay.
Did she handle the message?
Well, I was telling her what to write, and then eventually I just started writing under her name. And, explained to the guy I don't have Facebook. That's the reason we were using her account. But and then I met him and I was like, listen, I don't even have a place for you to plug this in. So you got to kind of just trust me. And here's the price. And if you don't want it, like, don't make the trip. But he showed up and it went okay. But it's a pain. It's no fun to sell shit. Like, I've sold golf bags and stuff like that. It's no fun.
It really isn't. And I'm kind of thinking, like, if someone said to me, hey man, I'll give you, like, if there was a way for me to pay $500 to never have to deal with this again, I would certainly think about it, because it's miserable. So who knows? Then again, if I put it up there for $100, it's going to be even worse. I'm going to get 10 times the amount of replies. So there's no even easy way to just get rid of it quickly, which I thought I was doing, pricing it at $500, because most of them are at like $750 or so when I looked them up online. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's all about taking. I always do. Whenever I'm selling things, I always put in there, like, the first person who puts money in my hand is the one who gets it. And I actually got into an argument with a guy. I was selling a golf bag, and
I like that.
We were trading emails. He was back and forth. He's like, I'm going to come pick it up. I'm definitely going to be there at this time. And some lady came and she said, I'm around the corner. I'll come buy it from you right now. And I did. I was like, yeah, whatever. And she showed up and I gave it to her and she paid me. And then I wrote the guy back. He's like, hey man, sorry, someone else just got it. And he was fine. Like, what? Sure. He called me. He's like, what are you talking about? I thought we had an agreement. I was like, listen, man, until the money's bullshit in my hand, this thing's stop.
There's no, you know how this works. Because how am I going to pick someone from this list? Who's the right person? I'm literally going to look through these and find someone who I think who has a real profile, and I'm going to just focus on them, because I'm not going to reply and have ongoing conversations with 35 people. That's crazy.
Right.
That's the only way to do it. That's smart, actually. I might amend my posting and say, hey, rich method in play. Cash in hand. That's money walks and bullshit talks.
Other way around, I think. Money
talks and drive bus walks. I feel like a guitar though. Like you're drive bus. You know what? I can picture him saying, "Hey, okay, I'm gonna scam this guy, but I couldn't come up with a convincing name. What if I was a bus driver? That's it." He used the same method that Mrs. Doubtfire used to create her alias. Do you remember that? Police.
I don't remember that being
Doubtfire. That was in the movie. He was making all he was pretending to be nannies, and when he introduces himself, there's a headline on a paper, and it says "Police Doubtfire," which I don't think makes any sense as a headline. And then he came up with the name Mrs. Doubtfire. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe if I look at the front page of the New York Post today, it says, criminal drives bus. And he thought, drive bus.
Drive bus. Is that his full name or is that his first name?
That's his first name. You want to know what the last name is?
Drive Bus Robinson.
Let me find out what Drive Bus's last name is. There's also someone called Igioma.
Yeah. Drive Bus is clearly not a nationality. It's not that's not. I can't read it. What does it say?
I remember that.
Got it.
Nice Razor.
Yeah. Oh, Nice Razor is the first name?
Yeah. Drive Bus's last name is Same.
Drive Bus.
No, not the same as Drive Bus, but yeah, Same. SAME. Drive Bus Same.
Default man. Same. Drive Bus.
That's what it is. These are a bunch of NPCs trying to buy an iPhone off me. Yeah. This is the NPC population shopping.
Well, good luck. I look forward to hearing the update the next time, for sure.
The new Call of Duty is fun. I've been playing it a little bit.
Have you played? Yeah. So Warzone's out. I've been watching people play it.
Yeah.
Have you played that?
So I haven't tried. No, I haven't tried yet because I need to hone my skills in multiplayer first. You don't play for I probably haven't played in a year, maybe a little less. So, you gotta get back being able to aim and shoot quickly. But I had a couple good games today. For the most part, I was paying attention to my KD because I'm sure because you asked last time. It's rare that I have a game with more deaths than kills, but I never get twice as many kills as deaths. So it's usually like 15-10, something like that. But now I think I'm probably, and you also have to unlock your weapons and level them up too before you jump into Warzone. And they have added, it's insane. Listen to this. So you're familiar with how to level up your weapons and stuff like that in Call of Duty?
That was the only time I played. Yeah. And that was the only time I ever played multiplayer, was to level those up so that I could use them. I think that's what most people do.
So the way they've done it for this time, there's so many dependencies. So let's say you have your assault rifle and you want to unlock a scope, like 3 or 4 scopes deep into the unlock chain, right? The only way you can do that is if you reach a certain level of that gun with a certain combination of other attachments, right? So then you have to equip, and sometimes in order to unlock bullets, you have to use a different gun with a different, I think they've basically made it an endless maze so that people will be navigating it forever and they play the game for hours and hours. But it's like, or they pay for it, the old pay to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's fun.
Are you really fighting that urge? Not to
yeah, I mean, I'm always fighting that urge. Yeah, because, well, first of all, it's the Xbox, so the credit card number is already in there. So all you got to do is click buy, which is already trouble. Second of all, they have the it's like you can unlock those, you can fight through and unlock that stuff. And once you get killed enough times, that's when I get the urge, right? I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to keep losing to these bastards. But again, every time I do it, it doesn't improve anything. Like you're going to get the same score no matter what you do and what gun you have. It's just
there
about like being good at it or not. It doesn't.
Just don't let those. I think. Yeah. Don't let those 8th graders get to you. Don't let those 8th graders get to you, man.
Did I see coming home from school message string that we have our first listeners?
Oh, someone is Jose watching right now.
Jose and Sarah. It must be Allison. She tuned in last week. She was our listener. Yeah. How can you tell?
There's on the top left of, you see where the live, it says live on the top left.
Yeah.
And the time, and then right next to that, there's an icon and the number 1.
Yeah. I don't have that.
So you probably don't have that, but I can see that there is one person there. So someone can actually write in the chat.
Oh yeah, okay, listener,
and then I can show
comment.
One listener. I can't see who it is, but I know that there is one person.
Well, I hope we're entertaining you. And I hope you like Call of Duty. Although you probably don't. Yeah, in Qatar. Qatar
back
Hero.
To Qatar for a second.
Can you make the caption Qatar Hero?
Yeah, that's right. There we go. I like that. I don't even know like what's so great about Qatar. Qatar had never qualified for a World Cup before they got it awarded the World Cup, right? So clearly, obviously, the reason that they got it was because they just briefcases of cash showed up at the right people's hotel rooms at the right time.
At least cash.
Right. Yeah. Who knows what else? And it's a country of like 600,000 people. It's the size of like Connecticut.
And they don't pay taxes.
There's no taxes, but there's no human rights. Like it's another one of these Islamic states where there's just like women aren't allowed to drive, and you can't like there's just not even enough places to house all of the soccer teams that want to come and play in this thing, let alone the fans that are also going to be traveling to Qatar.
Do you can't imagine like this is good.
Good.
No, I wanted to hear what you were saying.
I'm just saying, so Doha is the capital, But
Okay.
if you're going to go to a country and you want that experience, you would go to Dubai, right? That would be, which I can't talk about another place I just never want to visit. Go to Dubai
Right.
and get like that. I don't even know why you would. I don't understand the appeal. But Doha is like that. But it's not even a city. Like it's like a Charlotte, North Carolina version of Dubai. Like, why would you do that?
I mean, the whole UAE, like the development going on in the UAE is like, it's like if you have a friend or a neighbor or someone you know that came into money at some point in their life, and then they just start spending and spending and spending it as quickly as they can. It never looks right or feels right. That's basically what these cities are. They just they struck gold, and now their cities look like they were made in the last like 3 or 4 years. I'm looking at the map right now of Doha, and there's an area called Old Airport.
Show it. I'll pull it up.
Okay. All right.
Old Airport.
Yeah.
That's it. Like
See
a lot
right
of
here?
sand.
Yeah, a lot of
A
sand.
lot of sand in that picture.
Yeah. A lot of sand, and like if you zoom out, that's just pretty much all there is. Right?
That's
like
it.
there's
That's
nothing.
the whole country.
It is.
Where are you going to build? Yeah, where are you going to build soccer stadiums? Like where are soccer stadiums being? There's 6
What's
of
this?
them apparently.
What do you think
in
this
Doha.
is right here? What do you think this is? Is this new
Show
airport?
it. I don't understand. I don't see where you're pointing.
Oh, it's an airbase. Oh, so there's just this little silver icon. If I zoom in a little closer, out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, I see.
This is old state Route 5 in Doha.
It's Route 5 of 5.
Look at this. Like, what do you think it's like to live here? Right off
Do
a
they
pipeline
have water
road.
there? Like, how do you? I was going to say
Pipeline
that's
road.
going to be it. You just follow the pipelines, and that's where people live. There's nothing else anywhere else. Is that an oil refinery? Did they just drill an oil there? They must be.
I don't see a ton of machinery and stuff, but maybe. Let's go in deeper.
How are they getting water to these places?
Yeah, I'd be curious about the irrigation too, but it looks like they're doing all right. They've got some green grass. I mean, maybe not over here. Or over here. Yeah, I guess this does look pretty industrial. Let's see if we can find someone's home. See what life is like in good old Doha. But like not in the city, but more like these are definitely refineries.
In the burbs. Yeah, see if you can do Google Street View down someone's suburban neighborhood. That's definitely an oil. Well, maybe not. That looks like agriculture.
Yeah. Is that a house in the middle?
No, that's the so that's got to be one of those things that just like it's a constant like rotate like the sprinkler system.
Maybe. Yeah. So let's see. Where do we want to? So there's 2 air bases. And look, that's such a weird. I don't know. I don't get it. Let's see what things are like in Slal.
Yeah. Let's head over to Slal.
Looks like there's some. Ooh, what do you think this is? Is that a camel racetrack? It certainly is. Let's pop in and check that out.
Got it. We got a Google Street View of the camel race. Looks like they have multiple different distances that they run the camels.
Yeah, come on, Rich. What, you never been to a camel race? What you got here is for the 2-year-old camels, right? They're now this one is more like the Belmont Stakes on the outside. It's more of a distance race. And then you have the winner's diamond right here, where when the winning camel gets his photograph taken with the owner. Oh, it's a helicopter pad. I'm sorry.
That's where they fly the winning camel out from there back to the camel stud farm.
I mean, speaking of Call of Duty, right? This looks like a Call of Duty map. Look at this.
Yeah.
This looks
Can you drop
so bleak.
Street 99, man?
Yeah,
wow, they just have
saying, can I do like numbers? I can do 3D, and then these binoculars will come up if I can take a look at something. So maybe like.
Yeah, I guess not.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the all Shahina camel track. I mean, this is a cool camel track, though, right? It's the nicest one I've ever seen.
And I'm definitely going to
the guy who owns the camel track. Oh, look at this. Maybe this is where the people live.
Let's see.
What do you think? Al Otore Road. Yeah, there's a nice house with a pool. It looks like. Let's see. Tennis court. That's a house, but like that's one house, two houses. This is a palace-looking house, but that's a very big house. How many people? Yeah. How many people would you say live here?
I think it's like 600,000.
This is where they grow the weed.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's 2.9 million. That seems high.
Yeah, that does.
Up
seem
from
high. Where are they living?
Okay, so 2.9 million in 2021. In year 2000, it was 592,000. That is an insane. That's so it's like a 5 time. They've grown. They've multiplied the population 5 times in the last 20 years.
Now, what do you think this is?
That seems a big fenced-in property. I don't see a pool or a tennis court.
And what are these big poles?
Those palm trees?
You know what I used to do? You know what I genuinely used to do? To kill time at work, I would
What's that?
pull up. We can do it right now together if you want. I would pull up a picture of Bin Laden's complex in Pakistan, and I would try to find it on the map. I would just go to Pakistan and try to find that compound. It's really not as easy as it seems. Is this a camel race?
It's a camel race.
Full screen.
Of course it is.
Yeah, they're not going that fast.
No. These races must take hours.
Look at the cars
doing the long
driving
range.
with them. Is that traffic, or are those cars? They're driving like all over the place.
They're watching the. Oh, look at this camel.
Man?
This camel's all.
What?
So no one rides
so many
them?
Questions.
They just send them on their way. It's like a greyhound race, but there's 50 of them. They just spray paint the numbers on their necks. Look, they don't even they don't even wear numbers. They spray paint them right on their.
Dude, these cars are going to smash into each other. Look at how dangerous they are.
People.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
So this is 0.7 and this one is 7.
Even look like they're. Do these camels look like they're trying that hard to you? Like when you see a horse race, those horses are going for it.
Those
camels look like they're out for a jog.
I don't know, man. I think they.
You think they're going as fast? It all into it?
It looks like they're going as fast as they can. It's as little as I know about camels. I feel like there's 2 types of cars in Qatar, in the UAE. There's like the nice white like SUV, and then there's the dusty old one that doesn't that
That's
barely.
The car
has
I was talking about on our previous pod, the Mitsubishi. That's the Mitsubishi one.
Right. Dude, this is a long race. These guys haven't even made a turn yet.
That's the thing. I don't think they're on a track. I think they're on like in the middle of the road. That's why there's so many cars.
No, the cars are on the. No, they're clearly on a track. They have rails on those sides.
I think they're on like but I think the rails are for the cars. I think this is like the median.
I think this is a road
Why would they build
specifically
two
built
roads on the side of a camel race? I think they're doing a camel race on a road as like a novelty.
No.
Like, you know what? I think they were like, you know what would be cool? Let's just throw a camel race right down the interstate during rush hour and see what happens. That's what I think happens here.
I will.
Oh, no, you're right.
I'll meet you halfway.
Now.
I'll meet you halfway. I will say that they travel these roads on times when there's not camel races going on. Like there's other stuff around that they have to use these roads to get to. Dude, this is insane. Do you think these camels have any idea how far they need to run? Like, how do they know when to stop? They're getting
and
tired.
how are they incentivized to do this?
I mean, that gets into like the whole thoroughbreds, right? That's not a good life for a horse.
Thoroughbreds have a person on the back of them instructing them to go and controlling their speed. As you mentioned, these are just free range camels with a number spray painted on their neck. Look at these guys. What the hell? What is this country? What is the purpose of this country? What was it formed to be? Basically, I think what it is it's very, very resource rich land that the people who happen to be born there have basically won the Powerball, each of them individually. Yep. And this is what they're doing. And you know what? Who am I to tell them not? Go get them.
I guess
the camera crew there.
At least he's in front. I wish that guy had to like jockey amongst all the other. They're getting tired, man. They're just the guys, the ones in the back.
Well, hold on. How many were there at the start? There were a lot.
A lot. You want to go? Where are we here? We're at 4:11. I'll jump back, but let's look. Let's watch the start again.
Yeah, there's 50 camels there. Wait,
one of them, a couple of them go off here in a sec. Like this one in the back. This one, whoever bought the camel in the very back. Can you see my pointer?
Yeah, I can see your pointer. I can see your mouse.
Oh, here we go. This one.
But look at the merging of the cars too.
Look at
That's
crazy.
Look at this.
Straight across the track.
There's so much going on here. I'm overwhelmed. You know what I think the best part of this is? There's no way, and it's just hit me. There's no way to observe this race unless you drive alongside. There's no stands. There's no fan area.
This has to be a miles long race.
But the spectators have to drive to watch it.
That's what I mean. You can't watch it from bleachers by the finish line.
Well, you
right?
You could if it was like a. Can you see on the video description if this was at the our camel track there? I'll go back to it and look up the name.
It does not say.
Do you think
Mashallah.
Do you think that the people in Qatar watch YouTube videos of horse races and have the same reaction?
Probably. They're like, I can't believe
they
have people on the horses.
Yeah, yeah, they're not even driving. How do they see it? Yeah, I guess one of these tracks is really long.
It's so that
this track. And you know what, Rich? There are roads on both sides of the track on all of these tracks.
It makes sense.
Does it?
You're like you said, I don't know how you watch this if you're not driving alongside it. If you're not driving alongside these camel races. I mean, that outer perimeter one it's miles long. Yeah, let's skip towards the end. Maybe there will be a wreck here. Let's take a look. Yeah, they're coming down the stretch. They're still running.
Like most camels are still there. Yeah.
I mean, none of these camels are walking yet. This thing's got some stamina.
Dude, Lord knows what they're doing to these camels to keep them running this long.
I know. That's what I mean.
But or do you think camels just, if they see other camels running, they just naturally run? I didn't even know camels could run.
Maybe. Same. You figure that every animal can move faster than its normal gait.
I've got another question. Why do they have saddles?
I don't know what that is.
They're saddles. They're definitely saddles.
But those are humps, right? That's covering the. But is that a backrest?
I think they're saddles.
I don't know. Maybe that's the official timing mechanism that they have. They want to make sure that they get it right when they cross the finish line, which let's get to.
Okay, so the time is saying that this is 9. Okay, so we're at 10 minutes now, which is pretty. I mean, a horse race is what, 3 minutes?
Right.
So this is long by horse racing standards, but it's not.
It's got to be like a 10K,
crazy long.
I think this is like, it's got to be 10 kilo. Yeah, 10K.
We're going to find out right now and I'm going to have you do the maths. How fast can a camel run? 40 miles an hour?
Oh, look at this. Look at this move. Oh, the unpainted nut camel. Hold on. Look at this thing. Watch this thing come out of nowhere. Off the right of the screen here. Oh, this one right here. This one. Look at that. It's like they know they're getting close to the finish. 40 miles an hour?
That's incredible.
I definitely know what I'm searching next. Camel race crashes.
I got to run. We're going to dinner.
All right. I'll let you know who wins.
Yeah. Actually, can we just go to the end? Because I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, what did that guy just throw something out of his car?
A grenade.
It's going to be a photo. Oh, Jesus. It's going to be a photo
not on that camel. He's got his tongue hanging out. There it is. One going away.
Do you think they ever have riders?
No. I don't. Looks like Shell's a big sponsor, so that's good. Who would have thought they'd have an oil sponsor? Anyway.
Wait a second. I think. Oh man, this article is taking a weird turn right out of the gate. Camel racing, sport of running camels at speed with a rider astride over a predetermined course. This sport is generally limited to running the dromedary, whose name is derived from the Greek verb dramion, to run, rather than the Bactrian camel. Camels are customarily used as a means of transportation and are reared for their meat, milk, and hides. Camel racing is as old as history itself. On the Arabian Peninsula, the native habitat of dromedary, it can be traced to at least the early Islamic period in the 7th century. Traditionally overshadowed by horse racing, the peninsula is home to the Arabian horse. The racing of camels was long a folk sport practiced by the local population at social gatherings and festivals. All right. Love it.
Learned something new today.
Yeah. Boy, we should. I like this. We should pick something like this for every episode. Like, I was actually thinking about that. Maybe it definitely will, but it may not always be interesting even to us. So I'm wondering if so I had a couple ideas. I mentioned this before, but we should go through my YouTube Hall of Fame playlist. The videos I've saved to it. Or if you're willing to get back on TikTok, we could go and look at each other's liked TikToks from, the last couple of days or something.
Let's start with the YouTube thing and then go from there. A couple reasons. Okay. That's an easier thing to show on this, and TikTok is not even the way it's oriented wouldn't present as well. But let's do the YouTube thing and pull yours up next.
Can you plug in your phone to a computer and display it easily? Do you know?
I don't know.
I can mirror it. Actually, I'd be able to do that pretty easily because I have an Apple phone and a Mac, so I can mirror it. But whatever. Let's start with the YouTube playlist. I like that.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
Yeah,
and we'll visit the wide world of the internet.
Yeah. All right, brother.
All right. Later on.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Peace.